Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Lords of the Night. With me, as always, is the Lord of Pain, Ranting Monkey.
Hello.
And the Lord of Pennies, Satsu 2 cents.
What up, though?
And I'm your host, Scribe, the Lord of Punishment. Hello, chat. Hello, everyone. Hope everyone has had a good day, impeachment or otherwise, and you have a good week ahead of you. Just before we started, Angela Ariaga says, Scribe, your voice is going to be the icing on the cake that is the awesomest day I've had in a while. Please don't judge the poor English. Well, I am glad you've had an awesome day. I'll do my best to make sure my voice is icy smooth. Or I'll just sound like a complete freakazoid. How are you guys doing? How are you, Satsu?
Pretty good. Nothing major to report. Just a pretty decent day.
All right, Monkey.
Similar, just a okay day. Not bad at all. Thanks. How's your day?
About the same. I guess we're just boring people.
Nah, man. We had an incident-free day. That's good.
That's true, too, I suppose. I'm trying to think if anything exciting happened today. No, nothing. I wasn't almost run over by anybody. There wasn't any kind of crazy weather. Nobody did anything particularly awful or good or anything. It was an okay day. Yeah, sure. Yeah, well, sorry guys. That's the show. It was an okay day. Except for everything else that happened in the wonderful world of the news. We'll get to that momentarily, but Monkey Dick, Jim Jones, movies, video games, hit that like button if you haven't already, and many of you haven't. I guess you're just waiting to make sure that it's worth your time. And please share our stuff. Share it far, wide, and sideways, because heaven knows YouTube won't. Also, welcome to all the Sinatra Air Force planes flying in. Or race cars. I'm not quite sure what that sound effect is meant to signify. Do you guys know? Does Sinatra have his own air fleet?
I had no idea. I wasn't watching the show when that became a thing.
It'd probably be very dangerous if he did.
Yeah. Planes. Okay, they're saying planes. All right. Well, speed. It's a plane. World War II plane. World War II plane. Oh, we got Spitfires coming in. All right. Kiever Dam says Doppler effect. Yes. Thank you. Thanks. You're being technical, but I understand. Let's see. Are you guys dark souling tonight by any chance?
No.
No, but the last 7 days has been a nonstop dark soul bonanza.
We're almost done with the first one, though. I got 2 more bosses left, and then we'll be moving on to Dark Souls 2.
Yeah, strangely enough, because I suppose because I've talked about Dark Souls over the course of doing the show last couple nights, YouTube decided to, for no explicable reason, start throwing Dark Souls videos at me. And the one I saw today, and I don't understand all the mechanics of the game. I've never played, but the one they threw at me today was some guy who, within one level, became super duper powerful with a super duper powerful scythe weapon that was all fire embossed or something.
Uh-huh.
And, he did it in 10 minutes. And I presume it's very impressive. I don't really understand it, but it looked like he was skipping through a lot of things awfully quick. So that's as much dark souling as I had today.
Yeah,
anything else before we
a video?
Sorry. It's going to be pretty much impeachment night, guys. With all that's going on between Monkey and myself, certainly we'll have plenty to say. But anything else you guys want to talk about before we get into it?
No.
No.
Hello?
Hello.
Can you hear us?
Can you not hear us?
I don't know. Did he mute himself?
No, because we can hear him.
Oh, great. So there's this little remote control on my headphones.
Yeah.
And if it bumps up against something, there's 4 buttons on it. There's one that cuts off the mic, one that cuts off the sound, and 2 that control the volume. And apparently, the one that cuts off the sound just bumped up against my table. And of course, there's no indication on this thing to tell me that that's happened. I just have to guess and hit it. So for a second there, I thought my internet died. But
yeah, no wonder you talked right over me there. I'm like, oh,
yeah,
okay.
I was like, wow.
Yeah, no, that was not intentional. That was me literally not being able to hear you. So I will stop now. What were you saying, Satsu?
No, I was just I was commenting on the Dark Souls videos. I've been watching quite a few of those myself. The just how to get OP real quick. Yeah, okay. I've been watching a bit of those videos.
Okay. Well, sorry about that. That was a completely unintentional technical difficulty that I didn't know was going on. So, with that, let's get right into hypocrisy.
Yay, hypocrisy.
So I'll forego some of the recent updates on the events of the impeachment until Monkey and Satsu, did you watch any of it today? I know Monkey did.
No.
Okay. So I started watching the opening of the impeachment trial this morning, as I assume Monkey did as well. As I kind of predicted, the Trump side, at least in the beginning, kept everything relatively brief. Their first outing from one of the lawyers was about 10 minutes long, maybe, if that, 15. And then Adam Schiff took the stage. And for the next, 45 minutes, almost an hour, maybe, it's hard to tell. As I was doing my work and listening to it, the constant refrain I took from his opening statement was, we would totally show you the stuff we would show you if we had it, but we don't. And that would bolster our argument. And the entire time I'm going the only reason you don't have any of that is because you rushed the process. You did go through the courts to challenge whether or not the information you were looking for was covered under executive privilege. And you showed up to the Senate with what you have. And what you have was an incomplete investigation. I mean, whether you agree with the impeachment intentions or not, or whatever else, there is no doubt from Adam Schiff's statement this morning that they have come to the Senate with an incomplete investigation to prove their point.
Yep.
I don't have any other way of putting it. And when he started talking about how the Senate and Mitch McConnell wanted to do a rushed process with a pre-cooked outcome, I just about wanted to punch through the screen at just how stupid that was, given what the Democrats did in the House. I don't know how else to look at it except just absolutely. Either Adam Schiff is the most self-oblivious individual on the planet right now, or he is just an out-and-out, deceptive liar. And I don't know that either one of them is necessarily untrue, because I think he thinks of himself as something bigger than he actually is. But whatever ad hominems I have aside, his words today were just absolute garbage. Monkey?
Yeah, I wasn't up at the time, so I had to go back and watch. And I watching his opening statement, and then what I've watched since, the whole thing is just them bitching that they don't have evidence. And I'm like,
yeah.
How can you have gone through with impeachment if you didn't have evidence? And I've actually been in quite a few arguments with people over this today. The folks who are supporting impeachment, who just don't like Donald Trump, they all say the same. Well, he wouldn't give it to him. Well, if they didn't have the evidence, then we shouldn't be at this point yet, period.
Yeah.
And that seems to be Schiff's biggest point, is that they won't give us the evidence.
Yeah, well, and why don't you have the evidence? Because they're claiming executive privilege. Do they have a legitimate claim of executive privilege? Well, you didn't bother going to the courts to challenge that, so we'll never know.
Right.
And that was what you were supposed to do. Because whether or not the president has executive privilege over those items that you're looking for, it is a claim. It is not an outright, it's not a definitive. It can be challenged. That's the whole process. But you guys didn't do that. And so, and I put this on Twitter, I'm crossing over a little bit into fucketry, but the more I heard him talk about the obstruction of Congress article, the more and more it just sounded like, we were too lazy, so it's Trump's fault. That's what I kept getting from that, is that the obstruction of Congress is, it is like we are accusing the president of our absence of information that we didn't work for.
Well, one of the people that I was arguing with, they said it properly, and they're the only person I've seen be honest about this. What should we have done? Wait till after the election?
Yeah. God forbid.
Do you know how long it took for them to get the Nixon tapes after they asked for them?
I don't know.
It was from April to July of the same year.
Mm-hmm.
So if they had waited, I mean, there's precedent for this. They probably would have gotten everything they were asking for.
Right.
But they didn't want to wait. They didn't want to take the chance that they couldn't impeach Trump before the election. So this is all their fault. All they had to do was wait. Go through the courts like you should have.
Yeah. And who knows, if they had waited, if they had gone through the process, maybe they'd actually have a compelling case right now. I don't know. But then neither do they. So him standing up there and complaining that I don't have the information, he's not letting us have it. It's like, well, then I guess you're just powerless. I guess you're just completely ineffective.
Yeah, that's an interesting admission. They're just like, yeah, we didn't push this through, but what were we supposed to do? Wait until the election? This impeachment needed to happen, but we don't have all the information. It's just like, well, how is this Trump's fault? Like, why are you trying to blame this on Trump? And it's like, well, he wouldn't give us the information to completely destroy him. I'm like, would you give somebody information to completely destroy you?
Hey, Satsu, you're just a little hot, bud.
Okay.
Yeah, and the thing is, thank you, Zero the Hero 909. Obstruction of Congress because the House was lazy and incompetent seems about right to me.
Yep.
Well, here's the thing, and this is what upsets me. Uh-oh. That's Squeedus?
Yeah.
That's an upset Squeedus.
Here's the thing. All things being equal, so to speak, I appreciate it when the different branches of the government have to challenge one another's powers. That's the whole checks and balances thing. So if the executive is overreaching by keeping this information concealed, well, I would love Congress to check that power. But the House was negligent in this instance. I mean, whether or not the information from Trump actually is covered under executive privilege, well, we don't know. And now we won't know probably because the House didn't do their job. Even if it turned out to be nonsense, even if it turned out to not bolster anybody's case, I would still want it to happen as a citizen, as somebody who cares about our government working in the way it was meant to. But the House balked on this. So if Trump is getting away with something, well, he's getting away with something anyway. And now we have a completely lame duck impeachment process going through that we all know how it's going to end up because we all knew how the House thing was going to end up. So it's so frustrating to watch this and think there could have been a silver lining to this whole thing. I could have said, like, well, maybe the Democrats were completely fueled by political partisanship. Sure. And maybe the Republicans would be completely fueled by partisanship on their side of the equation. Fine. But somewhere in the middle, maybe something worthwhile could have taken place to show how it's supposed to operate in this whole checks and balances, our three branches of government thing. Nope. That opportunity is completely gone.
See, I do wonder, and maybe this is the conspiratorial part of my brain, because we talked about this early on. And I said, maybe we will finally get this decided by the courts. Because Clinton did originally, he's like, I'm not going to testify. And that was all over the press. And then it came in like, well, you're going to challenge it? And like, all right, fine, we'll fucking do it.
Right.
And I do wonder if they purposefully left that open so that next time, maybe their guy can do it.
I don't know. I can believe that amount of cynicism. I don't like that I can believe that amount of cynicism.
Right.
Because at the core of things, I'd like to think that even past all the partisanship, there can still be instances where we can actually see our government operate mechanically, if not ideologically, the way it was constructed to, And like I say, a completely missed opportunity here for at least something worthwhile to happen, even if it was petty. Yeah. But anyway, let me get you to the live updates of what's been happening recently, as says by CNN. Let's see. Democratic House manager pushes support for Schumer amendment. A fair trial requires witnesses. Democratic House manager Hakeem Jeffries argued his support for Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer's amendment to subpoena acting White House Chief of Staff Mick Mulvaney and described the importance of witness testimony at a trial. Quote, the Constitution, our democracy, the Senate, the President, and most importantly, the American people deserve a fair trial. A fair trial requires witnesses in order to provide the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. That is why this amendment should be adopted, he said. Okay. And then, if I wasn't mistaken, okay, and then 16 minutes, that was a half an hour ago, so Cena put that up. And then 16 minutes ago, Senator Blunt says McConnell wants to vote on rules resolution Tuesday night, which is tonight. Senator Roy Blunt, who is a close ally of Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, said he believes McConnell won't want to leave Tuesday night without the Senate approving the resolution setting the rules of the trial. Blunt could not predict how much longer the debate will go or how many more amendments Democrats will want to offer, but noted, quote, Democrats are going into less details, unquote, with each new amendment. Quote, it would be helpful to have the rule vote tonight. I'm pretty confident that's what the leader will want to do, he said. Blunt criticized the House Democrats' poor performance on the floor. Quote, it seems to me they've already presented their case about 3 times already, and apparently we're going to hear it 2 or 3 more times tonight, Blunt said. Quote, they may very well think that with this case and this repetition, this is the last time that the general public will pay any attention, and they better drive this home as dramatically as they can, unquote. Asked if he thought President Donald Trump had done anything wrong in his interactions with Ukraine, Blunt said, quote, that's not really the question we're going to vote on, unquote. That's true to a certain extent. And then the most recent update, Trump's team argues Senate should not, quote, do the House's job for it, unquote, by subpoenaing Mulvaney. Michael Purpura, White House Deputy Counsel, argued against Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer's amendment to subpoena acting White House Chief of Staff Mick Mulvaney by saying it's not the Senate's job to track down witnesses. Quote, the time for House managers to bring their case is now, Purpura said. Quote, they had their chance to develop their evidence before they sent the articles of impeachment to this chamber. This chamber's role is not to do the House's job for it, unquote. I don't disagree. Quote, Schumer is proposing the Senate subpoena Mulvaney, who Democrats believe is a central figure to the events that led to President Donald Trump's impeachment. Mulvaney is Trump's top advisor and refused to comply with the House subpoena for a closed-door deposition in November. Mulvaney dramatically confirmed in October that Trump froze nearly $400 million in U.S. security aid to Ukraine, partially to pressure the country into investigating Democrats, and proceeded hours later to deny having said so. Quote, that's why we held up the money, Mulvaney said after listing the 2016 related investigation and Trump's broader concerns about corruption in Ukraine, adding later, quote, get over it. We do that all the time with foreign policy, Mulvaney said of the influence of politics in foreign policy. Well, he's not wrong on that score, but anyway. So where things stand right now. Now the Senate impeachment trial has convened to debate a resolution setting the rules for the trial. Changes to the plan. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell changed the resolution after an uproar from Democrats and concerns from some Republicans. Each side will get 24 hours for opening arguments over 3 days instead of 2, and House evidence will be admitted unless there is a vote in opposition to it. So there you go.
There you go.
Yeah, it was a very frustrating morning listening. Adam Schiff. Somebody, I forget who it was, but somebody on Twitter who's apparently a big fan of Adam Schiff called him a litigious ninja or something. And I'm like, what? If I said it on Twitter, I said, if a prosecutor stood up and told the jury, there's all this evidence I wish we had to show you, but trust me, it's evidence that's bad for the defendant. I don't know what kind of prosecutor that would be.
Yeah, it's so strange that that's even a thing that's happening, and like the media is not like all over it. You know what I mean? Because under any other circumstance, they normally would be. Like if somebody's saying like there's a bad thing that happened, there is evidence out there, we don't have it, and it's the person's fault who we have evidence on that we don't have the evidence. So he's guilty, right? And they'd be like, no, that's not how that works. I don't know how we got here.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess it depends on which news outlet you're looking at, or who's assessing things. Of course, we'll probably see more in-depth assessments after the opening statements are all over with, because who knows, there might be some highlights or something. But Anyway, anything else to say about the impeachment at present?
And not really, other than, I mean, there's nothing that's going to come out of this that's going to be a surprise. So,
No. All right. Well, I did spot a completely unrelated article from the New York Times just before the stream started. I don't know the details of it, but the headline and such caught my attention. So we've always, well, for several years now, we've talked about the wage gap and the sexism in different industries and how there aren't enough women in X industry versus the other. So this is from the New York Times. They're subheading The Upshot. I have no idea what that is. It says, women's gains in the workforce conceal a problem.
All right.
So women succeed, but there's still a problem, is what my first reaction. But let's see. Jobs traditionally viewed as female still don't pay well and still don't appeal to men. Fixing one of these things would fix the other.
Wait a minute. Don't appeal to men?
Yes.
They don't believe in that concept. How can they bring that up? Remember, the jobs that women aren't in, that men occupy, isn't because they don't appeal to women. It's because there is a barrier keeping them out. So how does it work that way one way, but not the other?
I don't know. Let's see. This is by Claire Kane Miller at New York Times. Don't know who she is, but just for completion's sake. American women have just achieved a significant milestone. They hold more payroll jobs than men.
That's inequality. That's what they've been fighting against this whole time.
Continuing, but this isn't entirely good news for workers, whether they're men or women. All right, what's okay? Just for my own edification, what's a payroll job?
Job being on the payroll.
I mean, at first I thought it was like the person who's in charge of the payroll.
Maybe that's what it is.
Let's see. The difference is small, but it reflects the fact that women have been doing better in the labor market compared with men. Okay. One big reason is that the occupations that are shrinking tend to be male-dominated, like manufacturing, while those that are growing remain female-dominated, like healthcare and education. Okay. That puts men at a disadvantage in today's economy, but it also ensures that the female-dominated jobs remain devalued and underpaid. Does it? Quote, female-dominated jobs in the working class are just not comparable to men's jobs, said Jeanette Dill, a sociologist at the University of Minnesota School of Public Health. Quote, so yes, it's great to see women participating at such a high level in the labor market, but it also really means continuing challenges for working class families because these jobs just don't replace manufacturing jobs in terms of job quality and wages, unquote. Okay. Women now hold 50.04% of payroll jobs, which excludes people who work on farms or in households or are self-employed, according to the Labor Department's job report this month. Men are still a larger share of the labor force than women, a number that is calculated differently. It includes people who don't have jobs but are looking for work, farm and household workers, and self-employed people. What? So I'm confused. So payroll jobs for women excludes farms, households, and self-employed. Men's numbers, however, include unemployed farm and household workers and self-employed.
Okay.
I don't quite understand that logic of comparison, but okay.
I wouldn't use the word logic there.
I'm not a statistician, so I don't know. The only other time women have held more jobs was in mid-2010 when men were hit particularly hard by the recession and the decline in construction and manufacturing jobs. This time the economy is thriving, but women seem better able to take advantage of it. Okay. Reasons for the decline in work for less educated men are many. They include the rise of automation, the waning power of unions, rising incarceration rates. Okay. The factories that move overseas and hurdles to switching jobs like having to move away or return to school. Thank you, Gulf City Cult of Krill. Hold up. Men's jobs, manufacturing, are disappearing. Women hardest hit. I kind of sounds what they're trying to say. Thank you, Three-Sided Coin. Payroll job equals W-2, no self-employed. Okay, I just want to make sure because I haven't heard the phrase payroll job before. Just like, I don't know. Thank you, Angry Illinoisan. I have a healthcare job, only one that makes money, and am one of the highest paying jobs in the area. Both men and women do what I do. Yeah, Okay, I'm going to finish this article, so I'm trying to understand what's going on here. Let's see. But gender norms are a major and often overlooked factor. No, they're not.
How so?
Let me start over that paragraph again in case lost context. Reasons for the decline in work for less educated men are many. They include the rise of automation, the waning power of unions, rising incarceration rates, the factories that move overseas, and hurdles to switching jobs like having to move away or return to school. But gender norms are a major and often overlooked factor.
All right.
Thank you again, Three-Sided Coin. In other words, if you include self-employed men, making your own money / business, men outpace women. Okay, so, yeah. So wait, they get 50.4% of women payroll jobs. Right, okay. Men are still a larger share of the labor force than women. Okay, so the labor force that's not necessarily payroll, men combined are bigger than women who are only payroll.
Something like that.
Okay, I still a little befuddled. However much politicians talk about manufacturing jobs, the United States economy has become service dominated, and jobs helping people have typically been done by women, while jobs making things have been associated with men. You just kind of confirmed that with all the manufacturing jobs going down and all the service stuff going up and women succeeding.
Except she said that one of them, the reason is because those jobs didn't appeal to the other sex. And the other one is just because women have been being kept out of them because I guess they haven't had permission to do those things up until now.
And she also said gender norms are a major and often overlooked factor.
Yeah.
And I haven't heard anything regarding job demographics that hasn't mentioned males and females. How many female CEOs there are in the Fortune 500 versus men, et cetera, et cetera. I just did a whole video with guys talking about how they're so dedicated to putting women into jobs, whether they are supposed to be there or not, versus their merits. What is she talking about? Women's success in the labor market has been driven by their educational gains and by Black and Hispanic women. Okay. While women in large numbers have moved into male-dominated jobs, especially professional ones, the reverse isn't true. Women are 84% of social services workers and 78% of healthcare workers. Differences in the jobs that men and women choose are now the single largest cause of the gender pay gap.
Oh, so now it's a choice that men and women choose. It's a choice now. Okay.
Accounting for more than half of it. You mean more than half of the 1.3% after you've controlled for all the other factors? Wow. Okay. Research by the economists Francine Blau and Lawrence Kahn has found sex segregation. I'll start over there. Sex segregation is much more prevalent in working class jobs than in white collar ones.
What?
Here's a tip, guys. If you know of a business that is literally segregating people or segregating jobs by sex, you have such an awesome lawsuit in front of you if only you will take it.
Also, if you are being paid less because you're a woman, you also have a very awesome lawsuit right in front of you if only you would take advantage of it.
I mean, it's interesting that she starts off paragraph 1 talking about the jobs men and women choose, and then she goes on in the next one say sex segregation. Like, well, which one is it? I mean, are people being forced by internal rules and policies, or are people making different choices for themselves?
It seems like it's whatever one is the most convenient in this current sentence that I'm saying out of my mouth.
I'm going to skip down a little bit because we're going to get to MSS News. One reason men are reluctant to take pink collar jobs.
Oh,
I'm sorry, what?
Okay. Okay, I'm sorry. I will skip back up to where I left off. Okay, so sex segregation is much more prevalent in working class jobs than in white collar ones. But even the more prestigious female dominated jobs, like nurse practitioner or high school teacher, have failed to attract many men. Yet when men do so-called pink collar jobs, they tend to have more job security and wage growth over time than they would in blue collar jobs, which apparently blue collar only applies to men now. What?
I don't understand what's going on here.
Thank you, Connor Johnson. January is usually a dead zone at my workplace, but I haven't had any hours for almost 2 weeks. I think I need a new job. What do you think? No hours for 2 weeks? I mean, I don't know what kind of work you do. It wouldn't hurt to look. My dad always said the best time to look for a job is when you have a job. So if you have a job and it's not doing you well, it doesn't hurt to look. One reason men are reluctant to take pink collar jobs is that overall they pay less than male dominated ones. Yes, and most men have to think about supporting families, so the more the better. When women enter fields in greater numbers, pay declines, the sociologist Paula England and colleagues have found.
Wait a minute. So are they claiming that a job will pay well until the number of women in that job increases and then the pay goes down? Because that's what it sounds like you said.
Well, I was just told by several CEOs and government officials that having women in a place makes a company more successful and more profitable simply because they're there.
Yeah, women and people of color make the business more profitable by default just because they're there. Like, just let them walk into your business and you will make more money instantly.
Jobs that involve caregiving, like health aide or preschool teacher, are particularly low paying, even after controlling for the high share of female workers, other work by Miss England has found. Okay. Most workers have in mind the lowest wage they're willing to accept in a new job, economists say. Well, that's true, depending on your budget, your expenditures, and what you need for your chosen lifestyle, I guess. And men who have left higher paying manufacturing and construction jobs might be unwilling to take a large pay cut. Well, if you've structured your life around a particular level of income, or you've taken on such obligations that require a level of income, taking a job that pays less is usually unattractive. I think that's called math.
Okay. So I think I get what they're getting at here. They're saying if we increase the pay and these so-called less desirable jobs that are exclusively designated for women, more men will be willing to go into them. That'll close the gap between men and women in those, and that'll make more room for women in the higher paying positions.
Sure.
I get it, but you literally have to completely dismantle like human nature for that to happen. Like, you have to stop men from desiring higher paying jobs to make that happen. How do you do that though?
And the other thing too, that they're not, at least, maybe it's in here, I'm not going to read the whole thing now, but there's also the supply and demand aspect of it. If there is a overwhelming number of women willing to take these jobs, then they don't have to pay as much because they'll take the job that's available. And some of these, depending on what we're talking about, a lot of these industries, if you're talking about social workers and things like that, you're talking about like maybe nonprofits, maybe governmental jobs. The pay's never going to be that great. The benefits, the perpetuity of the job might be okay, but the pay itself is probably not going to be gangbusters or anything. And high school teachers and things like that. Well, I don't disagree that teachers probably need to be paid more in public schools and stuff if we want at least quality education for children in public schools, because you want to at least attract decent talent. But I don't know what to tell you. If unless you're gonna force companies and or school districts to start paying people more, which I mean you can do if you change the law and minimum wage and that kind of thing and drive things up, then maybe. But I don't know that a high school teacher's salary is ever going to match a master manufacturer's salary. So I don't know. I don't have an answer. But this whole thing about like, well, the jobs they choose versus sex segregation in the workplace.
And the one thing that I don't think they're taking into consideration is the fact that if these lower paying entry level jobs start to increase their pay, chances are the higher paying jobs are going to do the same.
Yeah.
So you'll be in the same position, just a little farther down the line. I don't know. It's a lot of assumptions being made here to try to reach whatever imaginary goal they think they can reach, and I don't know if they actually thought this through fully.
Sounds like a bunch of nonsense, to be honest.
Yeah, it sounds like a bunch of bullshit.
Well, it's all dependent on the psychology of men to be resistant to take a job that's not manly. When they finally get down to it, it's like it's a matter of economy. Does the job pay enough to cover my expenses? Does it pay enough to feed my kids or pay the mortgage or whatever else? If I had a manufacturing job and I constructed my life around a certain level of income and then I lost that job, do I throw my entire life out of whack by taking a job that pays half of what I used to? And then my wife has to work too to supplement? Or I mean, there's a whole other bunch of considerations that are not just about male versus female. It's about personal economy versus personal economy. But anyway, we could go on that forever. Let's move on to MSS News. Guys, if you have news stories you'd like us to read on the air, please send them to us via Twitter using the hashtag MSS News. Can't promise we'll get to them all, but that's because I'm long-winded, and sometimes we get caught on an idea longer than it's probably worth. That's just the nature of the game. This one comes from Desert Tramp, and this sounds like a plague out of the Bible. Not talking about the coronavirus. Forecast: falling iguanas in South Florida. Because, it's sunny with a chance of iguanas. Thank you, Johnny Hellcat. Just got notified of the stream, and oh my God, this just in, Reagan got elected. Nice timing, YouTube. I forget what it was. So YouTube posted. I don't know why or how YouTube decides what to put onto my, recommended page or whatever. But out of nowhere, and I honestly racked my brain. Did I do any Google searches? Did I do any video searches that would even relate to this even haphazardly? And I couldn't think of it. But anyway, I got two videos right next to each other of archived news broadcasts of the Challenger disaster.
Damn.
I'm like, what? But then, of course, my morbid curiosity had me click on it. And now I get one like every day now. It's like, oh, God damn it. It's a trap. The whole thing's a trap. The National Weather Service usually sticks to atmospheric weather events, but the agency made a special exception and expanded forecasting criteria to include things falling from above. The National Weather Service in Miami issued an alert for the possibility for falling iguanas on January 21st. Quote, "This is something we don't usually forecast, but don't be surprised if you see iguanas falling from the trees tonight as lows drop into the 30s and 40s. NWS Miami wrote on Twitter. It's not the first time South Floridians have witnessed seemingly dead iguanas fall from the trees during a cold snap. Iguanas become stunned in cold conditions and sometimes appear dead. However, as some learned in January 2018 in West Palm Beach, the giant green lizards are just waiting, perfectly still, for the warm weather to return." That's kind of creepy.
That's really creepy.
Faithless says, "You said moon-based Scribe Light. YouTube is listening." I honestly have to wonder if there's not some weird voice recognition thing going on when we do these live streams that then clicks into whatever's being recommended on my YouTube channel. Because I don't know how some of the things that end up on my YouTube recommends would come from anywhere else but things that I've mentioned on here sometimes. Like Dark Souls. I couldn't care less about Dark Souls except for you guys play Dark Souls. And then Dark Souls. Like, oh my God.
Well, I am curious. Did you happen to watch any of my Kerbal thing?
At one point, I think I did.
I'm wondering if maybe that picked up for the Challenger. It's shuttle related. It's space related.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe.
But like the Dark Souls thing, I mean,
maybe I guess the only reason maybe clicking on your live stream is what did it. I mean, that must be it. Satsu, do you tag those like with actual tags saying Dark Souls and stuff?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, maybe that's it. I don't know. Sometimes I get very curious. Anyway, moving on from sleeping iguanas. I can't do that one because that's a video. So Midnight Rider, thank you. But oh wait, is it a video or is it an article with a video? No, it's a video. Okay. And now it's going to play. I don't want it to play. Stop. Anyway, the tag says airline passenger claims she was barred from business class lounge over outfit. A woman is accusing an airline of gender discrimination after she says she was barred from entering from its business class lounge because of. Okay, is this an article or is this a video? It's both. Okay, well, don't play in my ear. Thank you. Let's try this again. Because of her outfit. Okay, and they got a picture of the outfit. And, I mean, the leggings are very form-fitting. Can't see her backside, which might be the problem as far as some of the people are concerned. Let me put in the chat for those that want to see what I'm looking at. Let's see. Natalie Marie Coyle, a former WWE wrestling star, was attempting to access the Qantas Airways business lounge at Australia's Melbourne airport last Thursday when the alleged incident occurred. The wrestler turned fitness model, known professionally as Ava Marie, said that despite having purchased a business class ticket for her upcoming flight, she was not allowed to enter the lounge beforehand. Quote, in 2020, Qantas Airlines Melbourne won't allow a woman holding a business class ticket to enter their business class lounge in activewear. Coyle, who was wearing an orange athletic jumpsuit at the time, tweeted about her experience. My business is fitness and an active lifestyle. Qantas prefers their women in a dress. Hashtag gender discrimination. Hashtag Qantas. Thank you, Mikhail, the Driving 8-Man. Happy birthday, Irate Prostate. Boys, do your thing.
Well, Irate Prostate, I think I saw you here earlier. I know you're around from time to time. I hope you're listening because this one, my friend, is for you. Oh, there he is, right above. And a 1 and a 2. Happy birthday you.
Why is your prostate so angry?
Happy birthday to you.
What do you do to piss off a prostate?
Happy birthday.
These are important questions, you know.
Happy birthday, sir. I hope you had a great one. I really do.
Let's see. What was the next thing? Head-to-toe gym wear is strictly forbidden in Qantas's Australian airport lounges, according to the airline's website. Okay. Coyle said her issue was not against the company's policy, however. Yes, it is. Instead, she took issue with what she saw as a double standard between male and female passengers. Okay. Clarification, this is not a dress code issue. I support a business's right to enforce equitable dress code standards. However, my husband was allowed and no problem wearing this while I was kicked out wearing this. And he's wearing shorts. I guess that is technically active wear. I don't know if it's head to toe, though, because, well, it's only shorts. I don't know.
She's kind of got a point there.
Yeah, I can't deny that one. That is kind of silly.
The only difference is she's going to have camel toe and he's not.
That's true. And I can't see her backside, so I don't know if that was offensive. I really need to find out if that was offensive, though.
It is imperative.
Yes, like Anita Sarkeesian and Batman. I need to find out if I can see that booty dough. Let's see. Moving on. Okay. This one comes from Massive Dynamics. Takes a moment because it takes a moment. Sperm donations from dead men should be allowed, study says.
Why?
Let's see. The analysis, which is published in the Journal of Medical Ethics, claims that opt-in post-death donations could be a, quote, morally permissible, unquote, way of increasing the stocks available. In 2017, in the UK, 2,345 babies were born after a sperm donation. However, there is a growing shortage of donations around the country because of strict regulations. Sperm can be collected after death. Okay, I'm going to start over with that sentence. If you're an organ donor, does that count? Sperm can be collected after death, either through electrical stimulation of the prostate gland or surgery, and can then be frozen.
What?
Irate prostate, is that where you get your name from?
No wonder you're so pissed off. Okay, see, who would have known that the next story would have answered this question?
Evidence suggests that sperm harvested from men who have died can still result in viable pregnancies and healthy children, even when retrieved up to 48 hours after death has occurred.
Oh my God.
So you want to make zombie babies.
I learn something new every day, but that I did not need to know.
In the analysis, Dr. Nathan Hodson from the University of Leicester and Dr. Joshua Parker from Manchester's Wythenshawe Hospital argued that such a method falls into similar territory to organ donation. Oh, I was kind of right. Quote, if it is morally acceptable that individuals can donate their tissues to relieve the suffering of others in life-enhancing transplants for diseases, we see no reason this cannot be extended to other forms of suffering like infertility.
It's not life-threatening.
It's not life-threatening. And it's not, I mean, it might be a psychological suffering, but it's not suffering. Also, you're not donating tissue to a living person. You are helping to create a new person after you're dead. So, yeah, that doesn't quite track. Now, I don't know, ethically speaking, if it is that big of a deal, I suppose, unless...
Who wants to be the child of dead baby or dead sperm?
Yeah, I don't know. It's a very odd.
That's gonna make Downsy zombies. Stop it.
Like, out of all the perfectly alive human beings, like, why would you just be like, I want that guy's sperm 24 hours after he expires?
Well, I mean, if they take it and they freeze it and they make it anonymous and it's just they test it for, whatever, and they never know where it came from, then it's effectively no different than somebody being a in vitro fertilization baby and just not having the biological father ever named. So, I mean, mechanically, it's no different. It's just a little weird that that's your argument as to why it's ethically okay. I mean, I don't necessarily think it's unethical per se. It's weird, but to say that's like this is a life-saving, well, infertility is not a life-threatening situation.
I wonder if there are any chicks out there who get like who all of their kids were like sperm donations just to see like how different her kids will look.
I don't know. I think to BC, how would you get child support in such a scenario? You sue the estate. You try to get into the will retroactively. I don't know. Let's see. Which one do I want to do here? This one comes from senior staff reporter and chief Florida correspondent Colleen Bernier, who was, before the stream, she was like, "You've used that thumbnail before, haven't you?" And I'm like, "Yes." It's like, "You used it on the exact same day that the mayor was arrested in my town when they used the same poster to show off the corrupt people in my town." I was like, "Oh." She like named off the date. She was like September 16th, 2009, like or 2019. I'm like, really? Damn.
Busted.
Now, I've been cycling through some of my previous thumbnails. I got new ones coming. Don't worry. I had Three's Company a while back, So, anonymous tip leads to arrest of 4 men after disturbance at Fort Myers Lounge. Okay.
Can I interrupt to say that I want to open a sperm bait called Anonymous Tip.
Why do you ask if you've already done it?
Because it was a rhetorical question.
Well, no, I get that.
Mm-hmm.
Just okay. Anonymous tip. That's what you want to call it.
Yes.
That's pretty clever.
It is.
You could have said that without interrupting me after I was done reading the article.
It would not have been as funny.
Do you hear anybody laughing?
I'm laughing.
On the inside? Okay. Let's see. All 4 men are facing multiple charges after one man who had a warrant out for his arrest was recognized at a club. Okay. And this is going to close there. Lee County deputies arrested 4 men on Friday after multiple disturbances at Rhythm House Restaurant and Lounge in Fort Myers. An anonymous tipster called deputies after she saw through social media that 22-year-old Guillermo Ledesma was at the club on US 41. The tipster knew Guillermo had a warrant, and so she called deputies. Okay. Thank you, Blind Press. What's your job? I wank dead dudes. LOL. Can you imagine that? And it's like, what do you do for a living? Well, I harvest things. Oh, like corn? Like soybeans? No. Corpse sperm. What?
Yes. Yeah. I electrocute the prostate of dead corpses.
You want to find out what it's like having a cattle prod shoved over your ass? Oh, no. When deputies
you think it's irate prostates?
Oh, jeez. Come on.
Maybe that should be the name of his business that does this.
Yes.
Sorry, irate. Just, I had to.
Oh, no. How about, no, that doesn't work either. Well, it almost works. Fillate prostates.
What?
When deputies arrived, they found
Guillermo. What are you doing to dead people?
I don't know. When deputies arrived, they found Guillermo inside a white Porsche. He got out and tried to run away, but deputies caught up with him. Turns out the Porsche was reported stolen from Collier County, and there was an assault-style weapon loaded and near the center console. Okay, this is getting more interesting. According to deputies, 25-year-old Fabian Ledesma then came out of the club and started cursing at deputies, saying, quote, "That's my ride. What are y'all doing?" Shortly after, 26-year-old Eric Brene Soto and 21-year-old Donald Snyder Adams also came out of the bar and joined in, cursing out deputies. Soto tried to make a run for it, but deputies caught him and arrested him. Adams and Fabian fled toward the 7-Eleven located at the other side of the plaza. Adams tried to free Guillermo from the back of the squad car. That's smart. Deputies caught up with both Adams and Fabian at the 7-Eleven. Adams was arrested for disturbing the peace and resisting an officer. Soto was arrested for cocaine possession, marijuana possession, driving with a suspended license, disturbing the peace, and resisting an officer. Fabian Ledesma was arrested for resisting an officer, disturbing the peace, and for an out-of-county warrant. And Guillermo Ledesma was arrested for an out-of-county warrant, as well as vehicle grand theft, possession of a weapon by a convicted felon, carrying a concealed weapon, and resisting an officer. And if those other 3 guys had stayed in the club, none of that would have happened to them.
Quote, assault-style weapon.
Mm-hmm. Assault-style weapon.
Just every time I hear that term, I just think of a weapon, like a gun that doesn't fire bullets. You just beat people with it. It's just a gun that you beat the shit out of people with. It can't shoot bullets. It's an assault-style weapon.
This one comes from Frosted Glass, and I had to double-check the date on it because I thought this was just a known thing, but maybe it just happened on the TV show. Batwoman just came out to Gotham because queer heroes matter. Even though I thought, I've never watched the show, but I was under the impression that the main character having a girlfriend or something was part of the equation from the first episode.
Maybe it was just like between them up until now, and now she's like, they put out the bat signal and it was rainbow colored, and they're like, oh.
All right. Well, for those of you that didn't know, this iteration of the character is gay. Batwoman just came out as a lesbian. No, not in our world. where
What?
we've where we've
Where the
celebrated.
actress already is.
I believe I thought the actress was, and that was part
She
of the reason
is.
why. Okay, maybe I'm. Anyway, not in our world where we've celebrated her queerness for a while. If you have, I don't read DC, so okay. Batwoman, the hero, not Kate Kane, the person, came out within the world of the CW show. Oh, okay. Letting Gotham City know that she's here, queer, and not into the bargain Chris Evans cop that people were shipping her with.
Oh, so there were people watching this who didn't understand that she was going to turn out to be gay.
And God forbid you ship somebody with the wrong gender. Because that's never... Yeah, sorry.
Does she have a zipper down there so that her lesbian friend can plop on?
You know where the whole shipping thing kind of originated with, at least as far as the modern age?
Wasn't it Twilight?
Well, it was /fic. It was called /fic because it was abbreviated. And one of the earliest kinds was Kirk/Spock. That's how it would be sort of categorized on old listservs and things like that. And so it became it got the title called /fic, where basically you take, two characters from usually of the same IP who otherwise weren't involved, and then you'd write little pornos about them or whatever. So shipping is, like, in my mind, the PG version of /fic, more or less. Just people being sort of like headcanon, boy, I wish these two would get together. So having people who are in their relative TV shows or IPs one orientation, but then writing fiction of them being the other, that's not either new or inherently bad. That's just fiction. So God forbid that Batwoman be quote unquote shipped with a male. Anyway, this was the first episode back for the regular series after Kate Kane joined the CW's Crisis on Infinite Earths crossover as the Paragon of Courage, and she was having trouble squaring that identity with the fact that Gotham has decided Batwoman was dating a hunk police officer. Oh, they were doing that in the show? Oh, people in the show were making the incorrect assumption about her orientation. Oh, she had to prove them wrong. So anyway, I don't care. I've seen some clips of Crisis on Infinite Earths come on my YouTube lately, and man, I mean, I'll credit to DC and their TV universe for keeping it very comic booky and not trying to be super serious about it, because when you're dealing with people who run really fast and wear, four color outfits, it's kind of hard to stay serious all the time. It's kind of like adult after school special type of stuff, and I can appreciate that. But some of the stuff they did in this one is just absolutely, like, I'm glad I'm not wasting my time watching this stuff. But at least they were self-aware. There's one point at which the good guys are calling some of the other good guys, and he looks at them on the screen and he sees a whole bunch of characters together that usually aren't together. He's like, wait a second, is this another crossover? I'm like, kinda. I was like, I can appreciate that.
Oh, jeez.
Okay. Who do we want to do? Oh, we're already a little bit late. I'll do one more just for the heck of it. This one comes from Shrouded Angel. Come on. You can do it. Bargain 19-pound engagement ring leaves woman joking, quote, they would rather be single. Well, that gives you a very big indication of whether or not that's a woman you would want to marry.
And it's not.
Yeah, exactly. An online debate over the suitability of an engagement ring has divided opinion because it costs just 19 pounds. Made of sterling silver with cubic zirconia.
Oh, I was thinking you were talking about it was the weight. My God. Okay. That's a whole different argument.
Yeah. This is
all right.
With cubic zirconia to give it a diamond-style bling, the bargain item is for sale at Jewelers Warren James. Faye Goddard from Bexley, southeast London, shared the photo of the knockdown ring in a Facebook group called Extreme Couponing, which sparked a discussion. Quote, she said, oh, sorry, not quote, but she said she thought the ring was ideal for anyone who wants to propose to their partner, but are limited to what they can spend. Almost 4,000 people reacted to her post, which attracted 2,000 comments, with members of the group split on whether it was suitable as an engagement ring. I don't know. If someone wanted to express their love and didn't want to like blow their life savings on just the engagement ring, you might think of that person as fiscally wise.
Yeah, don't ask me how much our rings cost.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'd want to impress and make a statement to my beloved one, etc. But I also don't believe necessarily in the idea of dowries anymore. So I don't know.
Yeah, people are ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, if the intent and the meaning is true, it really shouldn't matter. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like I say, a little effort, okay, but I would say more effort put into the proposal and the setting of the statement, etc. might be more valuable as a memory than the ring that she may or may not wear more than for a couple of months. You know. So anyway. Guys, thank you so much for all the stories. Appreciate it. Can't get to them all, but like I say, long-winded. And so we'll move into the wonderful world of YouTube time. I'll go first because I don't have much to say. I didn't do anything today. But Friday or Saturday, I'm going to do the live commentary track for the Gwyneth Paltrow Goop Netflix deal. So look out for that. Thank you, Gulf City Coke of Krill. Quote, it's the thought that counts, unquote, as long as it doesn't involve engagement, I guess. Yeah, exactly. But all the women that said, oh, totally not worth it. Like, okay, well, I hope your future boyfriend, husband is looking at that and making notes.
Good luck with your cats, lady.
Satsu, what'd you do today?
Well, my plan was to cook some more crab rangoon because that shit was fucking delicious, but I didn't get to it. So as far as the YouTube stuff goes, I actually did the final touches on my channel logo, and it's done. So if you guys want to see the new logo for the cooking channel, it's over on 2 Cents Plus, and it is up and available for you guys to see. If you give a shit, you can go check that out. I also did some little editing here or there for some of the videos that I was working on. 3 videos to be exact that are in the queue that I'm working on at the moment. Otherwise, just hung out with Squishy and the little one because I did not know Squishy was off today, but she was. So that was a nice little surprise, and we just kind of kicked it. So
cool.
Yeah.
And how is the wee Squeetus?
She's good and crazy, but we already know that part.
Okay, Monkey, what have you been up to?
I did a monkey in the morning. Badger and Jack joined me. It was a good one. It was lots of fun. So go check that one out, guys. It's about 3 hours, but it goes really fast. We talked about some of the e-thoughts from yesterday's monkey adventures. Because I finally watched the Nerd City video on Lele Pons. What a fucking scumbag. Just going to throw that out there. And then I was trying to figure out what I'm going to play because I'm going to play after this over on my gaming channel. And I think I've settled on Graveyard Keeper, guys. It's kind of like, what's that game? I always forget it. Stardew Valley, but with a more undead setting. So I'll be playing that tonight.
Graveyard Keeper?
Yeah.
Is this on Steam?
Yeah. Yeah, it is, and it's actually a pretty cool game. I've played it a little bit before, but I've never dove deep into it, so we'll see what happens. This one should also let me communicate with the audience a lot more tonight, guys. I'll still be ignoring you, but I have the ability to communicate with you more. There's
a bearded man riding a donkey holding a spade.
Yeah.
So, and now he's throwing bodies in the river.
It's one of the things he can do. Yes, you can throw bodies in the river, but you're actually supposed to bury them. Yeah.
So this is Stardew Valley, but dead people.
With undead people, yeah.
Oh, there's zombies in there too?
There's skeletons and zombies and all kinds of shit in this game.
Well, it's got a very positive rating on Steam.
Like I said, it is actually fun. I played a little bit of it before. I just never got a chance to dive deep into it because of other games we were playing. And this gives me a chance to do that tonight.
Midnight Exile says, I just played through Graveyard Keeper. I love that game.
Yeah.
All right. And looks like we have another member of the Sinatra Air Force, Blake Becker. All right. Anything else on the YouTube front then?
No.
Okay. Well then, let's get into a little bit of thuckatry. I will recite some of my Adam Schiff jibes just for the hell of it. In order, I should say first, Contodo. I don't know how to pronounce this. Contodo. It's some show on Netflix, and it brands itself thus wise: a love letter to Latinx and Boyle Heights communities. Gentifeed is a show for La Cultura.
What?
And I said, I wasn't aware that Latinx was an aspect of La Cultura. I thought it was a nonsense term made up by the language police to dumb down machismo. Latinx. Part of my brain wants to pronounce it Latinx. Latinx, because I just I can't even. Let's see. On to Schiff. So as I watched the opening statement that he made, it's funny to hear Schiff complain about rushed processes and pre-cooked outcomes. Hashtag Schiff for brains. Now Schiff complains that information that has arisen after the close of the House hearings and after the issuance of the articles might not be used in the impeachment. Well, Adam, making the case before taking it to the Senate was your job. You rushed. You have what you have. And we talked about that earlier. So there was this KFC ad that I guess was British, a British KFC ad. It's hard for me to sort of like recreate it in words. You kind of have to look it up. It's not that hard to find. But I guess there's a series of ads where some awkward situation occurs and someone uses KFC as a exit or a way to escape the awkward situation.
Oh, wait, is that it was like a soccer commercial or whatever. He was like in a crowd and white. Oh, okay. Yeah.
So there's a lady who's like dressed up like a belly dancer or something. And she's outside and she goes up to a car window that's reflective to adjust her breasts in her outfit. And then the window goes down and there's like three little boys in there staring at her. And then she just kind of goes like, fancy some KFC? And then it goes into a KFC commercial. And then this is apparently sexist and objectifies women, and it's awful. And Christina Hoff Summers says, the KFC ad isn't sexist, but its critics are heterophobic, which I thought was kind of funny. Let's see. That's all just more Adam Schiff stuff, I think. Over on my Twitter feed, I'll put the link in the chat here in a second. There is a Name the Next Mars Rover contest where you can vote for the name of the next Mars rover. I voted for Endurance because that was the name of the ship that Ernest Shackleton voyaged for exploration to the Southern Pole. Now, I'm not calling it Endurance in honor of the sort of disaster that was averted, thankfully, on the Shackleton expedition, but all the same, Endurance was kind of the name of the ship, and it really applied to that crew by the time they were done with their little adventure. So if you want to do that, there's some spacey stuff. Also, I will join in on the effort to clarify to people that video that you may have seen yesterday of the girl on Twitch begging people for money.
Yeah.
That person is not the name that is on the screen.
No, her name is Bad Bunny.
Yes. There are a lot of people who had taken it because it says guest Lottie Blix. Apparently, Lottie Blix has been taken as that person, and she's been receiving a whole bunch of crazy hate and such. And while words are just words, on the off chance you had any notion of trying to attribute that to someone, it is not Lottie Blix. It's Bad Bunny. So that was just a thing, public service announcement.
Well, real quick on that note, for anybody who was watching Monkey in the Morning and heard me say her name is like Butt Bunny or something, it's not Butt Bunny, it's Bad Bunny. Just want to be clear.
And lastly, a Vice article that was posted a couple of days ago, but I just saw. Is it okay to blow dry your vagina after showering? Sure.
No.
Proceed with caution. And I said, yeah, I mean, who doesn't like a dried out vagina? Am I right, guys?
It's supposed to be crispy.
Yeah. Anyway, that's all the fucketry I got. Satsu, what do you got?
Let's see here. CNN being disappointed that there was no extremist violence.
That was so stupid. God.
Yeah, they CNN was disappointed. Well, they didn't say that they were disappointed, but I mean, the tone definitely did that for them. They're not very happy at the fact that it didn't go the way they wanted it to go. What else did I post today? Oh yeah. Well, a lot of those posts, now that I've actually been paying attention, there seems to be quite a few blue check marks that have been posting the fact that if there were black people at the the march, all these scenarios that would have taken place. If black people were here doing that, or if those people were black, then the police would have done this, and there would have been all this stuff, whatever. And I'm just like, how is it possible that every single one of these people didn't watch anything that took place there, but they're all talking about it like they were there?
Real quick, thank you, Frosted Glass. I suggest the Mars rover be called Bender Rover. That's great. Thank you, Frosted.
It's very interesting that these people who didn't even go, or even, I guess, do the smallest amount of groundwork to just, I don't know, watch the videos and look at the pictures and stuff of the people who attended. These blue check marks, and they're just spreading all this false information, which I thought Twitter was opposed to. And it's happening over on Facebook too, believe it or not. There's a lot of this stuff going on over on Facebook about it. And I'm a little uncertain as to how, this many people seem to have completely missed out on what was going on over there again. There was also a post by somebody named Kim Kelly who said, "I see Antifa is trending again," which means some folks are still confused about the basic fact that Antifa is short for anti-fascist. It's not a group. It's a practice. Anti-fascists oppose and fight fascism by any means necessary. If this upsets you, you're on the wrong side.
Yeah. Shut up.
That's how that works.
And they say, if you're against fascism but disagree with specific tactics that some anti-fascists use, okay, don't use them. There are many ways to engage anti-fascist work. Or to engage in anti-fascist work, and it's important to respect a diversity of tactics. Choose the one that suits you and mind your fucking business.
Wow.
So check this out. If you're anti-murder, you don't like murder, that's fine. Respect the people who are anti-murder that use murder to fight murder.
Yeah.
Because that's their fucking business. You mind your own business. If you don't like their tactics, that's fine. But just because you're anti-murder, you don't get to tell other anti-murder people that they can't murder people in order to fight murder. Like, that's not science, bitch. I don't know what the fuck kind of drugs you're on, but that ain't how shit works. Yeah, it's these people are insane, man. They are completely fucking insane. Those are the two major things that I saw today.
All right, Monkey.
Let's see. Do I have stuff? Oh, yeah. Where's this one at? This is actually from yesterday. It's right as I was logging off of Monkey in the Morning. I saw it. Where you at, you little shit? David Hogg, you guys. Yesterday, did you guys see his hot take on the on the Virginia March?
Okay.
No, I just saw a still picture of him. His hair, it looked like.
17-year-old Trayvon Martin was shot on his way to get some Skittles. Yet there are thousands of white men able to march around openly carrying assault weapons on Capitol grounds. This is not about self-defense. It's about the enforcement of white supremacy.
Uh-huh.
For the record, David, this was in Virginia. It was the Virginia Capitol. Usually when you just say the Capitol grounds, you're talking about the, the federal Capitol. But just to give you a height instance there. There were also lots of black men walking around with, assault weapons. And there's a great picture that somebody threw in here. Oh, good. It's right here. I'll throw it in the chat for those of you who want to see it. It's these three black guys, and they're what the kids would call strapped. The one in the middle, he's wearing a shirt that says "Black Guns Matter." It's fucking beautiful. But yeah, David gives us his hot take on the on what was happening in Virginia. Now, speaking of that, I'm going to jump ahead. Where's this guy at? Where's this moron motherfucker at? Satsu, you had responded to this guy, and this is how I saw it. In New York, black teenagers face a mandatory minimum of 3.5 years and maximum of 15 years in prison for simple possession of a firearm. Meanwhile, in Virginia, parades of white people in ski masks carrying assault weapons walk menacingly down the street on MLK Day, and all is normal.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I want to repeat that first part again. In New York, black teenagers face a mandatory minimum of 3.5 years. This guy who wrote this, he's a defense attorney in New York. Now, I've asked him, and he has not answered yet, to provide me with the specific statute that is based on race. He's not gotten back to me yet.
Okay, so read that one more time. I just want to make sure I got
Sure. In New York, black teenagers face a mandatory minimum of 3.5 years and maximum of 15 years in prison for simple possession of a firearm.
Okay, I'll be devil's advocate for a moment.
Sure.
I will be very generous in that how he phrased that might have been ambiguous. Perhaps he's talking about demographics and averages.
What he's talking about is the simple fact that the law there, if you commit a crime with a gun and you're a teenager, let me rephrase that. Any teenager,
yes,
you face 3.5 years up to 15.
Okay,
but
that's
for
him,
him,
that's the written law.
Yeah, that's the written law. It's for anybody. It's any color. It's not just the black people.
Okay, because like I said, I was thinking maybe he's talking about if you look only at teenagers who have been sentenced under that law and then only look at the averages for sentences for those who are black, you get those numbers, and somehow maybe that's higher than. Okay, all right. I just want to make sure I understood.
It's the actual statute, and as somebody pointed out in chat here just a moment ago, it's also a matter. These are different states. They have different laws.
That's true.
And in that case, it's usually in the commission of another crime, or you have an illegal gun. It's not just your. If you have a registered firearm, you're fine. Anyway, and finally on this same topic, and I'm sorry guys, I know this was all from yesterday. I just saw these today, and they made me laugh. Will Bunch. Who is Will Bunch? I know that name.
He's a reporter, isn't he? Isn't he like a journalist?
National opinion columnist for the Philadelphia Inquirer. That's who he is.
Yeah.
So he's been on TV and stuff before giving his opinion, I'm sure.
Yes.
It's outrageous that news organizations called Richmond gun control rally peaceful when it was actually an act of terrorism with threats of violence to silence critics, keep them off the street. All the way up to Trump, it's time to fight back against bullies. Now, this guy's contention is that because all of these people were armed, nobody was brave enough to come out and counter protest. Therefore, it was terrorism.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Doesn't that negate the notion that guns don't? Okay.
Now, Satsu, stop with the common sense stuff.
Stop thinking, Satsu.
I can't. I know I'm black and I'm not supposed to, but I
Oh,
can't
you're supposed
help
to go
it.
to jail. Just go to jail where you belong.
Yeah. So for those of you who were like, "Oh, thank God it was peaceful," it wasn't. It was an act of terrorism because this dick said so. Yeah. What else do we have here? Do I have anything? Yeah, I had a lot where I was arguing with the I responded to Elizabeth Warren. Elizabeth Warren said that we need to have the stuffs in the Senate, the papers, the documents, and the witnesses. And I simply said that's what the House investigation was for. And a whole bunch of people lost their shit and don't seem to understand. But the White House said they wouldn't give it to them. Like, yeah, that's what the court's for. That's what the court's for. And one person actually said to me, "This has never happened. No president has ever withheld evidence." I'm like, do you know who Richard Nixon is?
Yeah. Horse shit.
It is an entire thread of people who do not understand how this is supposed to work. And like I told you earlier, there was the one guy, he's like, "What, were they supposed to wait until after the election?" Well, that's what it took, yes.
If they wanted to do their job completely and thoroughly, but they didn't care about thoroughness.
No, because instead what they're doing, this would be the same as a prosecutor going to trial and telling the jury they need to go find evidence.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't get, because they were trying to defend that argument. We're not just doing this to fucking affect Trump for the election. We have legitimate reasons why we want to do this. How can that even be one of the questions? What were we supposed to wait until? Why does that even matter? Why is that even a relevant question?
Yeah, like I said before, even if their case ended up being completely weak, regardless, if they actually meant what they say, they would have gone through the entire process to test the checks and balances against one another, to vet whether or not the claims of the president for executive privilege in this instance was valid. Because if you do that, you're setting precedent not only for this president, but for future presidents. And occasionally this does need to happen as things develop. And this really hasn't happened since Clinton. So it's a fine time to do it. And if it took 2 or 3 more months to do so, and you actually believe in the pledge that you took and the process that you say you have such solemn respect for, you would have done it. But you didn't, because it's not about that. And every time they keep saying elsewise, it really pisses me off. Because like I say, all the partisan stuff aside, whatever. If they actually gone through the process, I could find a silver lining. But there's no silver lining here.
Nope.
Anyway. Sorry. Was that it, Monkey? Or
Yeah, that's all I have, bud.
Okay. We got time for a Mad Lib. Let's do a Mad Lib. Let's see. So chat, this is what I need from you. And please put your suggestions into separate chat messages. Please tag them with the thing you are suggesting so I can find them easier. I need from you a noun plural, a number, just as a number, and an adjective. So a noun plural, a number, and an adjective. Monkey, I need an adjective.
Sad.
Okay. Satsu, I need a verb ending in ed.
Screwed.
Works for me. Monkey, I need a noun plural.
Nuns.
Nuns, okay. I almost kind of want to do this one myself, but I'll say, Satsu, I need a liquid.
I'm curious as to what you were going to do.
I was going to say something like corpse cum.
Let's do it.
Okay.
I'm down.
Monkey, I need a noun plural.
Hookers.
All right. Satsu, I need a famous person.
Charlie Murphy.
Charlie Murphy. God, what is Charlie Murphy doing these days?
I know fucking telling.
I know.
I thought Charlie died.
Did he?
Wait,
wait.
you might be right about that.
Oh,
Hold on.
that's right, didn't he? Oh, that's right. Shit, I forgot. Obviously. Monkey, I need a place.
Salt Lake City.
Is that because of the condom thing last night?
I don't know why that's in my head. Probably.
Okay. Satsu, I need an occupation.
Oh man, something really funny popped into my head that was relevant, and then it went away.
Okay.
Occupation. How about Twitch streamer?
I thought you were going to say prostate tickler or something. Monkey, I need a noun.
Fluffer.
I see a pattern forming here. Satsu, I need a nationality.
Nationality.
Yeah.
How about Trapanese?
What? Okay. All right. Let's see. Monkey, I need a female celebrity.
Bad Bunny.
Oh, okay. Satsu, I need a noun.
A chastity belt.
All right. And finally, Monkey, I need a female friend.
Weebo.
Weebo.
By the way, welcome home, Weebs.
Yes, welcome home back from Surrenderland. Okay, so now chat, your turn. I need a noun. Chicago Mike says Mars Rovers. Sounds good to me. Then I need a number. The Magister says 72. Sure, why not? And lastly, an adjective. What's a good adjective? Let's see. I already did that one. Oh, no one nowhere says moist. Okay. Classic. All right, here we go, guys. This one is called The Personal Ad. And it already works. I enjoy sad walks on the beach, getting screwed in the rain, and serendipitous encounters with nuns.
Wow.
All righty.
Wow. Thank you, Manic, so much. Dogcat Fox saying, you're awesome in a samurai outfit with sparklers. I love it all the same. Thank you so much, man. It's very generous of you. Appreciate it. And thank you for the fan art recently as well. Especially the one where I'm like sleeping and what was I dreaming of? I was dreaming of something. I forgot what it was. Also, Rich at Art. Did you guys see that Rich at Art thing he did the other day?
I did not.
The super duper buffed out muscular scribe.
Oh, I did see that one.
Yeah, I had like so it's like I say, super duper buffed out scribe, except he's got a crucifix around his neck and he's got elf ears. I'm not quite sure about that stuff. But either way, apparently he's going to pair it up with a version of Little Purple Whoring Hood at some point.
Yeah, you got to peek at a little bit of Scribe Bush too there.
Yeah, was that there? I didn't even look. Okay. Anyway, so I enjoy sad walks on the beach, getting screwed in the rain, and serendipitous encounters with nuns. I really like pina coladas mixed with corpse cum.
Oh.
Ew.
and romantic candlelit hookers. I am well read from Dr. Seuss to Charlie Murphy. I travel frequently, especially to Salt Lake City, where I am not. When I am not busy with work. I am a Twitch streamer. I am looking for fluffer and beauty in the form of a Trapanese goddess. She should have the physique of Bad Bunny and the chastity belt of Weibo.
Wow.
I would prefer if she knew how to cook, clean, and wash my Mars rovers. I know I'm not I know I'm not very attractive in my picture, but it was taken 72 days ago, and I have since become more moist.
Okay.
Oh boy. All right.
That worked out too well.
Yeah, a couple of those lines fit way too well. She should have the physique of Bad Bunny and the chastity belt of Weibo.
I don't think any chastity belt can contain that.
I mean, the chastity belt of Weibo probably means there is no chastity belt. Sorry, Weibo. I'm just saying, because you have a boyfriend. I don't think you're chaste.
She might be chaste.
She might be chased by her boyfriend.
Just a giant chainmail tube.
That's it. That's it. Yeah.
You can hear her coming anywhere. It's just
it's dragging across the ground, leaving sparks everywhere. All right, guys. Thank you so much for your help with the Mad Lib. But now it's the bottom of the hour, and thus it's your time. So, Chad, if you have comments, questions, concerns, conspiracy theories, if you, I don't know, have any impeachment inquiries that we could help facilitate with answers. Yes, that's what I mean. Put them in the chat now. If you have questions for us, please put plenty of chat marks after those. If you have statements for us to consider, please put plenty of statement marks after those. If you have no idea what I'm talking about and you're new here, ask your nearby chat partner, and they will inform you because everybody here is so friendly and helpful. Will it forge? Oh, Lords, since the Constitution does classify an impeachment as criminal proceedings, what is your opinion on double jeopardy on impeachment after an acquittal? Well, I don't know that's ever been put to the test because it's not a judicial proceeding, no matter even it says criminal. I mean, it classifies as criminal, but it doesn't operate like a actual judicial proceeding. So I don't know. Does double jeopardy apply in impeachment? Monkey, do you have an opinion?
I would say yes.
Yeah.
If you're talking about for the same thing, I mean, you can be impeached for something else. Yeah.
If you have a different instance of, and I'm just going to use the example that we're currently under, abuse of power. If you said, Trump's executive order to ban the Muslim countries was an abuse of power. Well, that'd be sort of like, two different instances of committing the same crime. So,
right.
Yeah. Let's see. Harvest Marbos. Who is holding a PC on Wednesday? Oh, sorry. The World Health Organization is holding a press conference on Wednesday about the coronavirus at 1 p.m. By the way, the guy who has it in the U.S. arrived on Wednesday, but didn't go to the doctor until Sunday. Think we should be worried. Where was that again? I know I saw the news story that said the first person.
Oh, shit. I want to say I saw this and I can't remember. Was it Seattle? Something like that?
Okay.
Seattle, New York.
Yeah. I mean, if he had it Wednesday and he didn't go to the doctor till Sunday, depending on where he is, we won't know how many more people he got sick for like a week or two because it incubates that long, which means that, wherever he was, that area should be worried, I suppose. I don't know. I guess we'll find out in 2 weeks or 2 or 3 weeks will tell us. And then chat jump because that's just what it does. Attack Alpaca. We know Monkey doesn't like chocolate mint, but does he like peach mint?
Never tried it.
You can't say I ever have either. Satsu ever tried peach mint?
No, I didn't even know that was a thing.
How about impeachment?
Ha
Pyrus Creed, did you know that Christopher Tolkien, son of J.R.R. Tolkien, has died at 95 over the weekend? I did know that. I saw several stories about that. So the answer is yes.
I didn't know, no.
Duck Dog, did Epstein kill himself? Yes.
No.
Because Hillary might be listening. Yes, sure he did. RJ Bandsmith, Scribe, thoughts on CPS investigating Onion Boy and thoughts on Lele Pons. I don't know who Lele Pons is. As far as CPS investigating Onision, if that police report is accurate, I suppose it's warranted. I don't know what else to say. I don't know much else about the case. So Who's Lily Pons?
She's the one Nerd City just did the video about on the 8th. If you haven't watched it, you should definitely watch it. She's a female YouTuber who used to be a Vine star, and she's kind of a cunt.
Okay. Thank you, Cody Fry. Ranting Monkey, are you always wrong about food? Or sorry, why are you always wrong about food?
Not always wrong about food.
Yeah, cereal is soup. Chocolate mint sucks. Yeah, he's wrong about food all the time. Assassin of the Gray, Scribe Light. Funny how coming out as a patriotic American is more risky than saying you are an alphabet people. Oh, because patriotic American is taken as you're a terrorist or something now?
Yeah.
I suppose that, at least in the social media world, that is true. But I always have to remind myself, half the stuff that we're exposed to here on this channel or in Twitter and everything else is not what everybody else is dealing with on a day-to-day basis. So it's kind of one of those things where it's a bit of its own echo chamber, even if you're not only paying attention to people you agree with. Motto Winter, oh Lords, water, Tangelo, or fuzzy navel? I think I've only had a fuzzy navel once. I don't know what Tangelo is.
That's
but I need
tangerine something.
No. Well, I'll take water because it's far more sustaining than the other two.
Probably water out of that group, and I'm not a water drinker.
Satsu.
Neither.
Frosted Glass, most convincing non-CGI old or young age makeup in a movie. Oh, I know this is cliche, and I'm sure there must be better options. But if you look at the age progression of the character of Charles Foster Kane and Citizen Kane, I mean, given the era, and you just see how Orson Welles goes, I think, what is like 23 or 25 at the time? By the time he gets to his old age self, you'd have a hard time believing if you didn't see the progression that he wasn't a 50-year-old, 60-year-old man at that point. I still think it's one of the more convincing makeup jobs. Other than that, I know a lot of people say a Little Big Man, where they get Dustin Hoffman looking like 100 and some odd year old Indian or something. But I always thought that looked way too plastic. Even though it is a work of art, don't get me wrong, it didn't quite land. You got any suggestions?
Eddie Murphy is the old Jewish guy in Coming to America.
That's true too.
That was a really good job there.
That was, yeah. Satsu?
I can't really think of anything off the top of my head.
All right.
Satsu don't watch movies.
I know.
Not enough to conjure up something like that off the top.
El Vaquero 555. Monkey, did you tell Scribbles and Satsu what I told you to tell them in Snoot's chat?
What?
That's
I
complicated.
didn't see what you said to tell them. Sorry.
Roasted Opinions. Do you think that any Democratic candidate has taken a decisive lead? You mean over the others? Biden has one. Aside from him, I don't know who else might have risen in the ranks significantly at this point. I'd have to ask Chris Cillizza. I don't know. Do you guys? Biden's still technically in the overall lead.
Biden has taken the lead and held it since he's entered the race. Nobody else has taken a decisive second place. Yeah,
that's true. Yeah, they're still fighting for second. And depending on how long the impeachment goes, they're saying it's only going to take a couple weeks. Who knows? If it goes on any longer than that, at least 3 of the current active candidates will be out of the running as they are jurors in the trial. So we'll see. And chat jumped again, guys. So if I missed your question, just repost it if you can. Jamil Joseph, Satsu, do you have a guild in Final Fantasy 14?
Yeah, I answered them. I said, yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Online. Okay.
Let's see. Midnight Exile says it's Biden versus Warren. They want to offer Warren the VP, but they know she'll throw a tantrum. I don't know. Biden want her as a VP?
Probably not.
Yeah, I don't think so. There's too much. if she gets questioned on the debate stage between her and Pence, I think she flails. I don't know.
I think there's way too many people who are putting a lot of faith in Elizabeth Warren when her poll numbers have fucking fallen like a rock.
Yeah,
They have
that whole gambit against Bernie and then all these guys on the stage thing didn't help her much at all. And even if she gets a soundbite or two here or there, every time she's asked a direct question about her policies or her proposals, she can never give a straight answer. And people notice that. They don't look past it. They notice it. Let's see. Motto Winter asks, "Oh Lords, who would you say your biscuit buddy is? For your information, a biscuit buddy is someone you share the Oreo you split in half with."
That would be Little Butt.
I would guess my sister. I don't think that's weird to say that because we're not talking about anything. Yeah.
Pretty soon, it's going to be Squeedus.
There you go. You're gonna let Squeedus eat Oreo cookies?
We're actually gonna be starting her on solid foods pretty soon.
Ooh. What's gonna be your first meal? You think you're gonna make a video of making her first meal?
Well, I mean, I'm gonna start with just like the baby cereal first,
Okay.
and then kind of work my way up from there.
Zeogold, which is funnier, Scribe Light on a date with Kefla from Dragon Ball or Ranting Monkey in Power Armor? What's funnier?
I don't think it would be funny to see Ranting Monkey in Power Armor. I think it'd be fucking awesome.
Yeah, so I guess the answer is me on whoever Kefla. I don't know who Kefla is, but I'll assume it's an anime character. Jack Gunsky, Scribe Light, what is the best role an actor disappeared into? Oh. Well, God. I mean, every example I come up with in my brain, like I was thinking, like who went completely method, and sort of like became that character, and there's a couple that come to mind, but I keep having one image come to my mind over and over, and Daniel Day-Lewis. I mean, regardless of what role he undertakes, he just becomes a completely different person with a different voice and a different look. I mean, between There Will Be Blood and Lincoln, if you didn't know any better, you'd be hard-pressed to tell they were the same person. So I think, as a general rule, Daniel Day-Lewis. If not him, God, there's at least one other I'm trying to think of. Gary Oldman, I guess, would be the second one. Gary Oldman and Daniel Day-Lewis are two guys who really transform themselves for their characters. You got, or the best role an actor disappeared, the role itself. I'll say Lincoln, just because Daniel Day-Lewis just physically and vocally completely transformed himself. You guys got any suggestions?
No, I couldn't even begin to answer that one.
What was the question again? I'm sorry.
What is the best role an actor disappeared into?
Probably for me recently was Heath Ledger, or is that the Joker or whatever? Yeah. That for me recently, like something that I can think of is probably that.
That's true. Thank you, Ebony Williams. Ranting Monkey has gotten most of my monies. Here you go, Scribbles. Well, thank you, Ebony. Appreciate it.
Ebony don't love me at all.
Oh, I don't know about that. Mr. Scott J87, favorite Jackie Chan movie? Oh, probably Drunken Master.
Harlem Nights. I know it's Shanghai Nights, but
Harlem Nights. I was like, wait a second, Harlem Nights.
Wouldn't he have been great?
It would have been something. That would have been something. And Harlem Nights, yeah. Mm-hmm. You have a Jackie Chan favorite, Satsu?
Wow, that's weird. The one that popped up in my head, I barely even remember it, but I know I watched it a fuck ton of times, and that was Rumble in the Bronx.
Oh yeah, Rumble in the Bronx.
Yeah, like I know I haven't seen that movie in forever, but like as soon as you asked me that question, that's the first thing popped in my head. So I guess it's that.
Okay, the ones I remember watching way back in the 90s was Rumble in the Bronx, Super Cop, and Operation Condor. Thank you, Chicago Mike. Best role, Johnny Depp in Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. Yeah, he did kind of become Hunter S. Thompson in there, didn't he? Yeah, I don't know. It was a really good role, really good performance. I don't know that he disappeared into it though, because it was still. And I'm not talking about just like just his face. Obviously, you can tell it's Johnny Depp, but I guess that's the other thing. I could tell it was Johnny Depp. I didn't forget it was. So, not to diminish the performance per se, but yeah, didn't quite equal a Lincoln or a Jean-Baptiste Emmanuel Zorg with Gary Oldman. Let's see. Motto Winter says, "Oh lords that are not of punishment." Oh, so it's not me. Why is mayo considered a fish product?
What?
Why is mayo considered a fish product?
I've never heard it considered a fish product.
I have no fucking idea. I've never heard of it considered a fish product.
Oh, and Ebony wanted you to know, Satsu, you're next.
You're so
and she said, Satsu, what's your Streamlabs? So put your Streamlabs into the chat when you get a chance here.
I do.
Turin says, is air fryer worth it, Satsu?
Yes, it is. It is very worth it. Although, if you're going to dish out money for an air fryer, you might as well dish out money for something that's multi-purpose. So look at the Ninja Foodie, because it does everything. It air fries, it pressure cooks, it steams, it dehydrates, the whole nine. It's one thing, and you won't have to, be searching for multiple things to do that stuff. So.
All right. Jack Gunsky says, Scribe Light, my pick for actor disappearance. Peter Sellers is the president in Dr. Strangelove. Hell, I mean, all three characters he plays in there, I think it was just three because he played several. He played president and the British officer and Strangelove himself. Yeah, he disappeared in all three of those roles. So yeah, legit. Cannibal Caretaker, if they make a real life Johnny Bravo movie, who do you think would be a good Johnny Bravo?
God, you can pick any dumb meathead to do that one. Who's the dude from 21 Jump Street? Not the fat guy, but the other one.
I was just thinking of Tatum. Yeah, Channing Tatum or whatever.
It should be John Cena.
Actually, that's not a bad idea.
Yeah, John Cena.
That's fine. Yeah, sure. Yeah. I was trying. I thought in his earlier days, Bruce Campbell should definitely be Johnny Bravo. Let's see. Attack Alpaca. Your opinion of St. Elmo's Fire? Oh God, I haven't seen that movie in forever.
The movie was garbage. The song was great.
Yes, the song was great. The movie was just sort of cheese. What do they call that group of?
The Brat Pack.
The Brat Pack. That's right. The Brat Pack. Yeah. It was a Brat Pack movie, but not one of the best Brat Pack movies. I think probably Breakfast Club and 16 Candles probably hold the trophies for Brat Pack movies.
I like 16 Candles, but the Breakfast Club was kind of to me.
Yeah, it kind of goes either way with a lot of people. You love it, you hate it. I got a lot of sentimental value for it just because of at the time you had to be in that era.
Yeah,
appreciate a lot of it. Thank you, Lewis. If they impeach Trump, do Dems get White House by default? No. Well, okay. Technically, he's already been impeached because that's the House's part. If he gets removed from office, Pence becomes president for the duration, unless or until there is another election, which there will be this year. So if by some oddball chance they actually remove Trump from office, Mike Pence will become the president from now until Election Day. And he'll have to decide whether or not he's running to maintain that office between now and Election Day. And since he wouldn't have been president, if you become president in the middle of someone else's term, does that preclude you from running twice thereafter?
No,
because you have to be elected twice, right?
Yeah, you can't run more than twice.
That's right. Yeah, so conceivably Pence could be, again, minimal chance of it happening, but Pence could be president over the course of 3 terms, if such a thing were to happen. Of course, that can happen for any president who takes over in the middle of a term, because that doesn't happen very often. So, Zeogold, favorite Steven Spielberg movie? Indiana Jones and Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah, probably Raiders.
Satsu.
I don't know.
Okay. Iris Creed, Satsu, have you watched The Dragon Prince, and do you have any pets?
Still have not watched The Dragon
Sweden.
Prince.
Sweden.
Ironic. No, she is not a pet.
Mm-mm-mm.
Ironically enough, the pet that I do have is a bearded dragon. So,
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
so no, I have not watched Dragon Prince, but I do have a bearded dragon. So.
Angela Arriaga says, my favorite John Hughes film is Some Kind of Wonderful, but it is possible that it is because it doesn't include the Brat Pack. Possibly so. I think, aside from Breakfast Club, I think my other favorite John Hughes movie is Uncle Buck. Uncle Buck's really good.
I am not a fan of Uncle Buck. I never understood it.
Really?
Really?
I always liked John Candy. I always had a soft spot for him. I always liked him.
I like John Candy, but there's so many better movies that he was in. Things like Delirious and
Delirious.
The Great Outdoors.
Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Again, not one I'm a fan of.
Yeah, I know. Too sappy at the end. Angela Arriaga says, best Spielberg movie, Jaws. I mean, culturally significant, I would say, but I think Raiders of the Lost Ark is a much better movie overall. I think it's better cinema, I think, or at least adventure. What time is it? Okay, time. Tim Berry says Johnny Bravo should be played by Andrew Dice Clay. Yes, if Andrew Dice Clay was in his prime, yes, that'd be a good one too. I'd like to see Andrew Dice Clay fight for the role against Bruce Campbell back in their prime. That'd be awesome.
Have you seen Clay lately? Oh my God.
Yeah, no, he is not in good shape, but he's old. He's an old man. What are you gonna do? There's a great clip out there. I think you can find it on YouTube where he's being interviewed on CNN, and the interviewer either doesn't know who he's talking to or has the worst notes ever, because he starts asking him some questions that kind of get on Dice's nerves, and he starts like out and out swearing on CNN live TV. It's great. It's perfect. Try to find Andrew Dice Clay's CNN interview. I think it's the last time he ever appeared on CNN for sure. Pincalo says, Ranting Monkey, you don't like Uncle Buck. Is this Bizarro World?
No, it's just not that funny.
Thank you, Chicago Mike. Scribe, the max number of years one can be president is 10 years. Not unless the president that they're vice president to dies on Inauguration Day.
There may be a thing in there about how many years you can serve. It's been a while since I've read that.
Oh, is there? Oh, okay. That I don't know, though.
Let's see.
So wait, let's say I'm vice president, and my president, right after taking the oath of office, and we both take the oath of office, has a heart attack and dies, and I become de facto president for that first term. I didn't get elected, so I get elected the next time, and then I get elected the next time. Do I have to quit by the time I reach 10 years exactly?
No, you wouldn't be allowed to run for your third term because you wouldn't be able to fulfill it.
Oh, okay. All right. Let's see. Mono Winter says, "Oh Lord's punishment." So, "Oh Lord of punishment," I think. Would you eat apple for $10? The catch is it is a 1 pound green apple and one sitting. For $10? Oh, green. Well, I love green apples. A 1 pound green apple. That's not actually a very big apple in one sitting. Sure.
Yeah.
If I can slice it up into pieces, sure.
I have the 22nd Amendment in front of me. If somebody's died in office and you serve more than 2 years of their term, you're not allowed to run for more than one term.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Let's see. Elvacaro 555. You can run for president twice. You're right. Okay, gotcha. Let's see. Jack Gunsky, Scribe Light. Perhaps Chris Hemsworth has the comedic chops to pull off Johnny Bravo. I guess he could. I don't know. He just doesn't. I'd have to. I guess I'd have to see him like made up to look like Johnny Bravo. I suppose. I think there are probably actors more suited to that. I don't know. Like I say, someone with a big square jaw. I think of like Bruce Campbell. You know, I really do think of like Bruce Campbell or something, or an Andrew Dice Clay. Someone who's got that sort of, who can do like a kind of a quasi Elvis accent. I don't know. Ranting Monkey is Johnny Bravo, says Ebony Williams. I don't know, Monkey. You could do Johnny Bravo.
Never tried.
You got the baritone for it. You could do it.
In my youth, I had the body for it, but not now.
Do the voice.
An Elvis voice?
A Johnny Bravo voice, yeah.
Well, that's somebody trying to do an Elvis voice.
Well, I know, yeah. So do your bad imitation of an Elvis voice.
Fuck, I don't know.
Perform for us, Monkey, right now.
No.
Oh, you know,
Monkey
fun.
said
You know
no.
what? God damn, I said no. RJ Bands with Scribe Light. Worst joke you've told your parents, lords. Oh, well, I guess it's to all of us. Worst joke I've told my parents.
God, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like.
Do you know how long it's been since I've talked to my parents?
Yeah, the tempo in my family has always been very sarcastic with bad jokes and things. Like most of my humor is derived from my father. So bad jokes are kind of go along with the territory in my family. So I don't even know what the worst one would be, since we don't take most of them seriously in the first place. Zeo Gold, which is funnier, Sargon dressed as James Brown or Cenk Uygur chasing someone in a fursuit? Probably Cenk.
How do you guys conjure up this shit?
I don't know. Ebony Williams, thank you again. Ranting Monkey said dumb meathead as Johnny Bravo. So, hey, Chris Hemsworth isn't a dumb meathead.
She's calling me one.
I was trying to save you the embarrassment, Monkey.
I'm not embarrassed.
Oh, well, never mind then. Okay, sure. Ranting Monkey's a dumb meathead.
I don't get embarrassed. Shit.
Joel McLaughlin, Johnny Bravo, Peter Warburton. I was going to say Peter Warburton, but he's too old now. But again, Dice Clay in his prime, Bruce Campbell in his prime, Warburton in his prime. Warburton would have been great because he's just got the jaw for it. He's got that sort of like, smug sort of half-slitted sneer on his face the whole time. It's just like, and he can do the voice. So that's the other thing too. I try to imagine, like, could Chris Hemsworth do the voice? And El Vaquero 505, Johnny Bravo, Nicolas Cage. In his prime. All that reminds me, for those of you who are Lovecraft fans out there, you might be aware that Nicolas Cage has a Color Out of Space movie that is soon to be available, I think. But also, the same people, I guess, who were making that one are also in the process of producing a Dunwich horror movie, which I would be very happy to see, if done faithfully. Now we just need to get Guillermo del Toro to do his At the Mountains of Madness movie, and I would be a happy guy. Chicago Mike says, Johnny Bravo, Kurt Russell, 3,000 Miles from Graceland. Yes, Kurt Russell. And, of course, he played Elvis in the TV movie, which John Carpenter directed, which is really odd, kind of little quiz fact. John Carpenter did an Elvis movie. You ever see 3,000 Miles of Graceland?
No.
Yeah, it is epically terrible. But one of those movies that, like, if I came across it on TV, I'd watch a bit of it just because it's so ridiculously bad. But you have, like, Kevin Costner and Kurt Russell and Bokeem Woodbine, the actor who has my favorite name to say, Bokeem Woodbine, all playing Elvis impersonators trying to rob a casino. It's great. It's terrible, but it's great.
Great.
Let's see. Brown coat bows. How about Chunk in a fursuit chasing Sargon? That would also be humorous. Zio Goat says Johnny Bravo, Dwayne the Rock.
He might be a little too dark.
Yeah, okay, so Satsu's the racist.
Yeah.
El Vaquero, Superman 3, cheesiest movie I liked when I was a kid. You know, the thing about Superman 3 that always scared me was when the lady turned into the cyborg. That was the most, I mean, everything else about the movie is just ridiculous, but that part alone always creeped me out as a kid. Lady gets caught in the machine and she gets transformed into this. You see the little like wires and circuits all like getting etched into her skin and everything, and that just scared the hell out of me when I was a kid. Still makes me uncomfortable when I see it. It's like that's a baked in sort of reaction. But anyway, guys, with Scary Lady being turned into a robot, it's the top of the hour, and that's the end of the show. Everybody, thank you so much for coming out tonight, as you guys always do. You guys really are the best audience in the world. Moderators, thank you for keeping an eye on things, even though our audience is the best behaved in all of the world. And everybody who donated, as I say, I can never tell you how much I appreciate it. Your generosity, it's going to go all towards horrible things I'll put in my body, like Dr. Pepper and goldfish and the occasional green apple, just to sort of balance things out. Remember, guys, per usual, be on Monkey's channel tomorrow night at the usual time. Anything else to mention or plug before we go?
I will be over on Ranting Monkey Games here in just a few minutes.
That's right. Monkey's going to play, what was it, Life of a Grave Digger or something?
Graveyard Keeper.
Oh, sorry, Graveyard. Well, same difference.
Wow, that was horrible. That wasn't even close.
Life of a Graveyard Keeper? Yeah. Oh, that reminds me. If you've never seen Cemetery Man, starring Rupert Everett, it's not safe for work, but it's a great weird little horror movie. Anyway, everybody, thank you so much for coming out tonight. Appreciate it. Satsu, Monkey, thank you for joining me as always.
Indeed.
Satsu doesn't give a shit, apparently. Okay, everyone, your lives make us sad, and we will see you tomorrow.
Bye, guys.
Off.
And now he says something.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, well, and I'm taking out my copy of Screw the Roses, Send Me the Thorns, the romance and sexual sorcery of sadomasochism. And today's secret word is music.
La música?
Music. It's the music. This is the music. I play the music.